Hello there. My name is Highfire, community contributor for World of Warships North America and for Legends. I stream primarily on Twitch, and you can also find my streams here on YouTube under the live channel. More than welcome to come by and say hi and whatnot. We'll be covering the Dockyard information, which you need to know in order for you to get your ship that most recently came out on 13.7. If you like the content and enjoy the information that you get here, make sure to subscribe and like and come by the streams to say hi. And thanks again for watching. Alright, so, whoops. Almirante Oquendo is your next dockyard ship. This is a Tier 9 premium Spanish cruiser. Essentially what a dockyard ship is that you're going to be spending the next 7 weeks constructing a ship from pretty much the ground up, from the keel all the way up, and it lasts about 55 days for your missions, but the event actually goes for 83 days. And I will be covering that here. When you first jump into here, it's going to tell you basically you have 20 phases of building orders for your Almte Oquendo. And in each one of these phases, you're going to be rewarded with either premium time, consumables, steel, coal, and even a Tier 6 premium German cruiser Leipzig. And you'll see that this is 20 building orders to complete it, and eventually at the end you will get yourself the Tier 9 Spanish cruiser. This is the first part that you will see. As you can see, you'll have the reward at the end here once you complete all 20 of the building phases. And first thing you'll see over here on the left hand side where my camera is covering up is your starter packs. So the starter packs, there are 2 of them. There are 2 shipbuilding phases and 7 building phases that you can pick up at a discounted price. The reason why I say discounted is because each one of the building phases normally costs 2,000 doubloons, and if it's 20 phases, you can do a rough estimate in your head that it'll be 40,000 doubloons. 40,000 doubloons is not necessarily cheap, but if they offer you a 9 building phases at a discount, it's going to be lower than that. It'll be roughly around, what was it, 33,000 doubloons roughly instead. Actually, no, 30. Not even that. It would be lower than that. So either way, normally it would cost you 40,000 doubloons for each one of the building phases of 2,000 each. However, when you start off with the 2. You will see that they offer it for you for 3,000 doubloons, and then also offer you 7 building phases for 8,000. You are able to complete this ship almost by doing combat missions alone. So if we come back out of here, you will see that when you first jump into ships, on the left-hand side in their combat missions, you will have a new section called Dockyard. And each one of these, over the course of 7 weeks, will offer you building orders. But you'll find that if you are going to try to build this ship strictly by combat missions, you will find that you'll be 2 building orders short. This is intentional. The reason why is because if you were first starting out and you don't have Leipzig and you want to get the ship, you still have to put some type of effort into getting the starter packs done. So this is where they're offering you the 2 starter pack here for 3,000 dubs, and then if you want to advance a little further into the shipbuilding process, you can buy the 7 shipbuilding processes for a little bit lower. This combined, both of these here, is 11,000 doubloons, which will give you a total of 9 building phases, and that'll be 11,000 dubs shorter than what you would do from 40,000. Alright, so we have the 2 starter packs covered, and we also have the missions cleared. I was going to go ahead and kind of go through here. There's also a Leipzig that you will get a hold of here, which is a Tier 6 premium German cruiser. If in the event that you actually have the Leipzig, you will be compensated 2 building orders. So this is where on the videos that you say you could get the Almirante Oquendo for free, but there's a side note here is that if you actually have the Leipzig in your port, then you would be compensated 2 building orders. We'll get to this during our building process for the ship and show you just before what happens if you do have the Leipzig in your port. The Leipzig was offered at an earlier event, maybe even a battle pass. So the first thing you'll probably want to check is if you actually have it in your port, and it will look like this here. It's a tier 6 German, like Nuremberg kind of equivalent to it, but it's a tier 6. So that's what they mean by you can just about build it for free, but not quite. So what we're going to do here is, before we start building it, let's go over the missions. So combat missions, for you guys in North America, you should already have your combat missions open. For you guys in Europe, you guys' combat missions will open up on Thursday. So we'll see here, usually the first week is fairly simple. You have win 3 battles, 15 capacitations, 45 aircraft shot down, 975,000 damage to ships. This does not specifically say any particular type of ship. But you can also have carrier, battleship, cruisers, destroyers, and also even submarines if you're looking for specific kind of missions. Usually every week they will offer you like a bonus that is usually a random and also ranked matches that can only be completed in those, but everything else should be completable in either scenarios, co-op battles, or even brawls or special game modes that might come out in the next 7 weeks or so. What you're looking for here in the first week, it looks like most of these are hard numbers, meaning like 45 shot down or even damage done or even ribbons can be completed in co-op battles pretty easily. Even scenarios will have this in half gauge, meaning that if it's 700 ribbons, you'll have 1,400 ribbons needed for the operation. So the first week is usually very easy and simple. Second week, so again, more hard numbers, capture assists. Now, when it comes to credits, co-op battles are not the best way to get credits. You will want to do either regular matches, ranked matches, even scenarios, which is not cut in half, and also brawls. I believe if you have a 750 gold or 750 credit earner on one of your brawl missions, it will count toward it. So if you have a brawl that has 750, you may want to consider using that to knock that one out right away. Otherwise, 1,250 main battery hits can also be done co-op as well, or even clan battles now is on that. 1.2 million damage ships, doesn't matter what type of ship. 170,000 aerial skip bombers, so you have to make sure to keep in mind that it's skip bombers and bombers only for this. 750,000 damage with the main battery, 85. Most of these look like they can be done in pretty much co-op battles or the easy mode things. But then here in one battle, 200,000 damage can only be done in random and ranked battles. Week 3, 35,000 experience. Would not recommend doing this in co-op battles specifically, but over time you should be able to get 35,000 in any other game mode. Hard secondaries, 800 hard secondaries and main batteries, easy done in co-op. 1,500 battle, again, more in co-op, even in scenarios. This would be 3,000 ribbons in scenarios. 20 destruction ribbons, 65,000 experience. Okay, so this is where you're probably going to want to use some boosters. So both the aircraft carrier, battleship, cruisers, and destroyers, you probably want to put on some boosters in regular matches. This is not base experience, this is just standard experience. So you should be able to put on a couple boosters and knock out a couple of these here. Again, 15 set on fires and floodings in regular matches is the bonus on that one. Week 4, same thing again, more hard numbers, easy to be able to do in co-op battles. Shot down could be done in co-op battles. Now, more boosters. So you still want to do 25 more boost, or 25,000 on a free experience on boosters again. Incapacitation ribbons, 155 torpedo hits, again, could be done in co-op. 1,200 secondaries or main batteries can be done in co-op. And main batteries still done on co-op as well. So 25,000 base is not easy to do. And this is going to be a random battle and or ranked battle. So you will. This is going to be the bonus, kind of an extra bonus you can be able to do on each one of these weeks. 95,000 damage to shut by and flooding and fires can also still be done in co-op pretty easily. 1.2 million damage with main batteries or secondaries. Can still be doing in co-op. It just might take you a little while to do that. Now, 9 million credits. Would not recommend doing this in co-op or AI. This is where you're going to have to either do operations, ranked, or regular matches, and put on those boosters. This is where those boosters, credit boosters, are going to be very valuable in this week number 5. 45,000 base experience. Now, this is where you're going to have to take a look and see how long it's going to take. And now, this is not specific for any particular type of ship. So this is basically just play the game. If you play the game, you're going to get base experience no matter what you're going to do. It's just a matter of how quickly you want to get through that 75 or 45,000 base experience. I generally have about a 7,700 base experience per hour, either if I'm doing regular matches or if I'm doing co-op battles with a lot of co-op battles, or if I'm doing other type of battles. You can go into your profile and see how much average experience you have in your regular matches, and you take that 45,000 and you divide it by your average experience per match times 4. Because I usually get about 4 matches in an hour. If your average experience is somewhere around 1,000, your average experience per hour is probably going to be about 4,000 an hour. All right, because you get roughly about 4 matches in an hour. So mine, 45,000 base experience right here is going to tell me it's going to take about roughly 6 hours of playing in-game, either by regular matches or ranked or such. So this will vary depending on how active you are in the game and what type of mode you play. Now again, 1.7 million damage is easily done in co-op and regular other matches, 1.8 as well. So hard. These are all hard numbers, meaning by that is that it's not base experience, or credit burn earning. Most of these are basically a number you can get done in other type of battles. 10 Citadels is pretty tough to do, but it might not be that tough if you get a light cruiser like a Minotaur and you find yourself an opportunity against another cruiser, so you can get 10 Citadels pretty easily. That's going to be a rare case, but it has to be done in regular matches and ranked. Week 6. Capture, assist. There is no defend ribbons in here. Keep this in mind. So if you... you cannot do it in co-op. Oh. So I'm not sure if this is supposed to be intentional, but this is capture assist can only, and I don't, you can't get captures and capture assist in operation. So this might be an error. Might be. If they don't have the co-op battles in here, AI battles, then this is probably an error, and you can't do this mission in operations. You can't get capture assist in operations. So this one right here, just for now, keep in mind you'll have to do it in random and ranked battles. 140,000 experience. So whatever ships you are grinding, this is where you want to probably put those boosters on again. 4,000 ribbons can be done in co-op AI battles or even brawls. 3.5 million damage, again, brawls or co-op as well. Rocket hits, 620 rocket hits. You're going to have to find probably, what was that, Malta? Or Colossus or some... No, it was the Aquila. Aquila has the rockets on here. There's like something like 40 rockets every payload. So you'll have to specifically find a certain carrier that has a lot of rockets if you want to get through this. And you can also do it in co-op battles and regular matches and even scenarios. Remember that scenarios is cut in half on that, so it would be more like 1,240 rocket hits. 25 citadels and battleships, 50 incapacitations with cruisers can be done in co-op. 665,000 damage done with torpedoes could still be done in co-op. That would probably be good, really good in Kleber. 175 torpedo hits in just any type of mode. And then again, 230,000 damage in regular and ranked is pretty hard to do, but this is an extra bonus to get this building order. And Rebirth of the Navy right at the very end. So this one can be done in operations, 85, shot down or plane shot down, easy to do. This one you want to do some boosters, 9.2 million credits. You probably want to put some boosters on there. Hard number for main battery and secondaries can also be done in co-op, also clan battles, and also brawls. 60,000 base experience. Now this is not required. So they didn't put this one as a required building order. It's going to add to your final building order, but it's not required. 2,200 ribbons. Well, looks like probably some secondary aircraft carriers might be useful here. Same thing with secondaries. 2,600 ribbons. It's not main batteries. 3,500 ribbons. That's going to be like a Minotaur. 2,500 ribbons. That's going to be like a Forrest Sherman. 650 ribbons in a submarine. That's pretty hard to do. That's a lot of pinging. And then 2700 base is the again extra on regular matches and or ranked matches. 650 ribbons in a submarine is probably going to take you a little while to do. But if you're looking to hound out this number again, that's that 60,000 base experience. This is where your mileage is going to vary. You don't necessarily need to complete that one like the last Dockyard, but it will add to your final building order at the very top, but it's not necessary. You can get everything else completed before that 60,000. But so you take your 60,000 divided by your average experience per hour, and that's how long it's going to take you to complete that on the very last hour. Now, usually the last mission for the 7th week is usually open for 2 weeks. On that, that's usually what they do, but it's available in a month and 11 days, and this section is available for 55 days. So if someone does some real quick math on that, you may either have a week or 2 weeks in order for you to complete that last mission. So there's all your missions on that for all 7 weeks. Looks like most of them are pretty doable and easy to do in co-op battles or even brawl battles. A lot of them are just hard numbers, like a certain amount of damage done. But my advice is when it comes to credits and also experience on a couple of these rounds before, this is where your boosters are going to become very useful. The 65,000, 55,000, 47,000 experience. Got to use some of those boosters to get through these here on them. But when it comes down to destruction ribbons, secondary ribbons, all that good stuff, you can do them in co-op battles. My only concern is this one right here on week 6, where capture and capture assist cannot be done in operations, but I think they might have not included co-op battles by accident. So you should be able to get capture and capture assist in co-op battles here. So really the two main that you need to be really concerned is the 45,000 base experience, which is not required. You can go around that. And then also the Rebirth of the Navy, which is 60,000 base experience, which is not required. You can also go around it and do other missions. Got it? So there's your mission breakdown. Let's go ahead and actually build the ship. So we're going to go ahead and purchase both the starters. Again, the amount normally for 20 building orders would be 40,000 doubloons, but they are offering you this at a discount. If you were to plug in this over here, if you were to plug in 40,000 doubloons, it would normally be about $160 for that, but they're offering you at a discount of pretty much, what is it, 11? So 8 and 3, so 11. What is that's the 29,000? 29,000 doubloons for 116, so it's gonna cost you, wait a minute, did I do my math wrong on this one? So if this costs 8,000 and 3,000, that's 11,000 for 9 phases, and you still have 11 phases to go, which is 22. So I think I did my math wrong the other day here. So if this is going to be 8,000, 11,000 doubloons for 9, but you still have 11 dockyards at 2,000, which is 22, plus the 11,000. That's where I was coming out, was 33,000. So it cost you 33,000 dubs for these two here, and then the remaining part. But remember that we're going to have the Leipzig as well, so there's a little bit of a discount on there. And either way, it's going to, if you were to do the 2 and the 7, it'll cost you up to 11,000 for the first initial part. But what we're going to do is we're going to have the Leipzig here in a moment. Where is this at on this point? Because I don't want to go over it. It's at 11. So for the first starter packs, it should put us at 9, and then what I'll do is I'll build it up to Leipzig and show you what happens here. So we'll pick up the first one for 3,000. We're gonna go ahead and build it. Alright, so the first 2 building orders have been completed. As you can see, it's coming along. And what we're going to do is the starter pack is now going to be offered again for the next 7s, which we're going to go ahead and drop into it. And we get the following rewards. Here we go. So 11,000 doubloons get you almost halfway through the building order up to building order 9. And if you right click, you can actually get rid of everything on the top part there too. Seems like this little area right here seems to be a little slow. Oh, there's that spaced armor. So we're starting to see that spaced armor come into effect here. There's the mounts for engine and boilers. There's their turret mount in the back starting to come around. There they are. There's the 2 mounts for the guns up in the front there, the rotational. We're almost to 9. We're on building phase number 7. There's the outside torpedo protection. This outside wall just came out. So there's 3 layers. There's the outer layer, there's a second layer, and then there's the citadel layer on this ship. So it is a lot of spaced armor on this ship, very similar to the French. If you were to look at the tech tree line Andalusia for the Spanish cruiser, you will see that it's pretty much the same hull. Except for the Andalusia has 234mm cannons, where the Almte Oquendo has the 203mm cannons. There's also a slightly different gimmick for that line too, compared to the Dockyard. The gimmick on the Spanish cruiser is it has a quick reload for or burst mode, a couple of rounds, and then thereafter it's a longer reload. Where the Oquendo has a more accurate shells, but they sacrifice the reload time for it. So now we're at building phase number 9. We can go ahead and collect the rewards from both starter packs. So the starter packs from here on out are no longer basically offered. At some point or another, if you do not pick up the starter packs and you get to, like, I think stage 4, they're no longer going to be available to you. So it is advantageous for you to pick up at least the 2 starter pack if you do not have Leipzig in your port. Now, remember what I told you about the Leipzig here is if you have it, you're going to be compensated 2 building rewards. This is very similar to the last Dockyard, where if you had the West Virginia, it gave you 3. So what I'm going to do is we're going to build 1 more into it. So we're going to go up to building 10, building order number 10. And if you don't pick up the starter packs, but you do have Leipzig in your port, then this means that you're not going to need to do the starter packs, but you will still have to complete all of the combat missions every week up to week 7 in order for you to complete the ship. In the event that you did pick up the starter pack and you have Leipzig in there, when you actually complete the Oquendo, you will have compensation via steel. You will get steel for each individual building order that you complete thereafter once you've completed the ship. I'll come back on this at the end of the video. I'll do a frequently asked questions at the end. So if you want to skip all the way to the end and find out, if you can get the ship for free and all that good stuff there, then I will answer them more at the end of the video. Again, if you're enjoying the content or information about it, make sure to hit that subscribe button on YouTube. I will appreciate it. And if you ever have any questions or comments or anything like that, feel free to drop them in there and I'll try to answer them as quickly as possible. So we're at the point here. What's going to happen is when we actually complete this Dockyard mission, you will see that it will compensate. You'll see it come up at the bottom here that Leipzig is in my port already, and you'll see the building order will advance 2. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So we're going to advance 1 more. So you get to see the ship continue to be built. Again, you're going to be able to do this over a 7-week course unless you decide to drop everything into it. I remember saying that in order for you to complete the entire ship out, it's not 40,000 doubloons. It's more like I think it was like 33. So there's a certain amount of actually remaining you have to still pick up on yourself, other than the starter packs. So if we so now that we're at Leipzig, we're gonna collect rewards. And what ends up happening is there's the shipbuilding process. So it automatically comes through for you. Not quite. Here, never mind. Let's do collect rewards. Oh. Did it skip it? Nope, there it is. It's going through its building process, so there's 2 building orders compensation. Since I already have the Leipzig in my port. There we are. So again, at the bottom right corner, it showed me that I got compensated for shipbuilding for having the Leipzig already in my port. So there's the compensation to building. So it automatically does it for you once you get to this point. So once you get to this point in the building process via your missions, if you already have the Leipzig, then it will just advance furthermore. So from here, we still have 7 building orders to do. And we're going to go ahead and do that here for 14,000 dubs for the remaining. Here we go. Again, if you right-click, you can get rid of all the other stuff that's out there, and then we get to this phase here where it goes off. Yay! Woo! Kind of rough waters, huh? Alright, and then it continues building process now. It floats! You can start to see the gun mounts here. Remember, this one has the 203s, not the 234s. Ooh. Get a couple of secondaries starting in, or AA. Usually dual purpose. It does have 4 turrets and 3 barrels each, so a total of 12 guns. And you can see it's very similar to a German cruiser with its, I'm not sure if it was supposed to be a sonar or radar the bowls that they're on them, but it's very similar to what you see on German cruisers. And then I think the last part coming up. There she is. Alright, you have completed 20 shipbuilding processes and have obtained Almte Oquendo. Collect. And then you have the ship. Collect rewards. And then, looks like I got a little bit of steel and stuff on that because I think I already have it. So I did cover this ship on a Monday stream, but I will briefly go over it real quick for you guys. This is a Spanish cruiser tier 9. Almirante Oquendo. Does come with a pretty cool camouflage here too. Again, if you want to try to play this ship before you build it, Andalusia is very similar hull. In fact, it's the same hull, but the guns are 203s rather than 234s. And also the gimmick, well, I call it a gimmick, basically the special feature, the function button, is different from your Spanish cruisers in that it has better accuracy but sacrifices a little bit of a reload time for it. I'll show you that here in a moment as well. So if you go to equipment, so here it is. So the main difference between this for the funny button or the function button is that it has a modified shells. It has a 20% shell dispersion, which makes it a little more accurate toward wherever you're firing at. But it also increases the reload time by 42%. I have found when I'm playing this ship, there is certain circumstances where I need that reload, and then other circumstances where I really need to get that shot out there to light stuff on fire. This 203 does have a 17 base fire chance. You can stack it all the way up to 20 depending on your captain skills. So it's basically a really good fire starter, in my opinion on it. So that's what that button does. It's different from the other line. So if you want a very similar ship to play, Andalusia is very similar. In fact, it has the same kind of hull to it, except for it has 234s, so a larger caliber gun on it. But also the function button on the Spanish cruisers is a burst fire, which generally gives you 2 salvos, and not much more than that. Okay. There's your Almirante Oquendo. Let's go back. A few common questions are going to arise on this. If we go back to the starter pack, I don't think I can bring back up the starter pack much on it. You get basically, you can purchase 2 building orders at the beginning, which should cover your last 2 that you have, that your 19th and 20, if you do not have Leipzig. If you do have Leipzig in your port, this is the cruiser that's about halfway through 11, then you don't necessarily have to buy the 2 starter kits or the first starter kit, because you should be able to complete the ship by just doing combat missions. The combat missions are only going to get you up to 18, so you're still going to have 2 building orders short from picking up the ship. That's where they offer you the starter pack for 3,000 doubloons rather than 4,000 doubloons, what it would cost you at the end of the building order. Now they offer you 7 building orders as well at 8,000 or 6,000, 8,000 doubloons, which is 6,000 doubloons discount. What I mean by discount is that if you were to buy 7 building orders, it would cost you 14,000 doubloons. But they are offering you 7 building orders for 8,000 doubloons rather than 14, which is a discount of 6,000 on that. So this is where it comes down to how much time do you have. And if you have a lot of time and you play a lot of ships, then you should be able to get through the combat missions fairly easy. But if you do not have very much time, or you play ships casually or so, you may not be able to get through all these missions, and you may want to take the time and buy the 7 building orders. That way you have a little more advancement. So you should be able to complete the dockyard approximately 5 or 6 weeks into it, rather than all the way up to 7. All right, but if you're doing the bare minimum, at the bare minimum, if you do not have Leipzig, then it will cost you 3,000 doubloons if you buy the 2 first, or it'll cost you 4,000 doubloons at the end because you'll be 2 building orders short. If you end up buying both starter kits, you'll be at 9 building orders into the process, almost halfway there. Then you'll get the next one. You'll get Leipzig. If you do not have Leipzig already, then you get yourself the Tier 6 premium cruiser. If you do have the Leipzig, then you advance even 2 more further on that. Every mission that you complete for building orders past the an initial build of the ship gives you 250 steel. So you get 250 steel for each additional building order that you complete after building the ship completely out. So there it is. I was actually going to go over a little bit on the pricing wise. I was looking through. This is a link that you can find on Wargaming. If you just go to Premium Shop and go to any amount of doubloons, and you can kind of just type in here on how much, it gives you kind of equivalent to what it would cost you. So normally it would the ship would cost somewhere around $160 if you were able to drop 40,000 doubloons into it. However, they don't really allow you to drop 40,000 doubloons into it because they want you to buy the starter kits first. So if we kind of take a look at this here, if it were 20 and each one of them cost you 2,000, it would be 40,000 doubloons. However, they're offering you a discount of the first 7 at 6,000, 8,000 doubloons, and then from there, if you were to go from there, it would cost you a little bit of doubloons. But I wouldn't recommend actually trying to, once you get your 7 and then try to build out the rest of it. They will try to get you to get the starter on as well, so which would cost you about 11,000 doubloons for both. Both starter kits. From there, so if you were to type in 11,000 doubloons on this site, it would be about $44. So if you were to pick up both starter kits for the ship, it would cost you about $44, and then from there you're still 11 basically short on it for the building order, since it gives you 9, and that would give you 22,000. So you take this 11,000 that you already put into it, and you put in 22,000, which should give you 33,000. That's $132. So if you wanted to basically buy the ship today and get everything completed on the dockyard, it would cost you 33,000 doubloons, which is $132. But if you were to drop just the bare minimum of 3,000, it would cost you $12. But you still need to complete all of your missions every single week for the 7 weeks on that. If you have Leipzig, then you don't have to drop any doubloons at all. Just make sure that you complete all of your said missions throughout all the weeks. I hope everything clears up for any type of confusion or any type of questions you might have. I know these dockyard stuff here can be a little confusing to wrap your head around too. These usually dockyards are twice a year, and they will usually give you some type of way of completing the ship via, if you already have a particular ship in your arsenal already, or if you don't, then you have to make sure to either pick up your starter kits or be forced to buy full price at the very end. Thanks again for watching. Again, my name is Highfire, community contributor for World of Warships North America and Legends. You can find my streams over on Twitch and also YouTube live section, HYF, the number 1RE. Hope you guys enjoyed. Have a good rest of your day, and maybe I'll see you on the live streams. Thanks again. Take care.